What's up, YouTube? My name is Aerith. Thank you for stopping by my channel. This is actually my first ever YouTube video. So if you'd like to support me, make sure to hit the subscribe button and like the video. Today we're going to be talking about the three secret preservation evoker combos that you need to know. Need is in all caps because these are really, really cool combos. They're a little bit off the beaten path. Before we get into that, though, just to give you a little bit about who I am. My name is Aerith, and I play all of the healers. But this expansion, at least for the start of it, I'm going to be maining Preservation Evoker. I'm super, super excited about it. I do a lot of very, very, very high keys. We finished last season at 3271, and we're looking to always improve and hopefully go into next season even stronger than before. So without further ado, let's get into the three secret Preservation Evoker combos that you, all caps, need, or release caps, to know. Period. Except no period, because that would be weird to put a period in a YouTube video. We're gonna jump right into it. So the first technique is one that you might have heard a little bit about. You may have heard it passed around that preservation evokers have the ability to mass dispel. This is absolutely true. As an evoker, you can mass dispel magic. You can mass dispel a curse. You can mass dispel a poison, a bleed. You can mass dispel literally anything in the game that is dispellable in some way, shape, or form. And the way that we do this is by using our stasis. So you might be wondering, well, if I dispel something, my dispel is going to be on cooldown. So what do I do at that point? It's very simple. So when you'd like to mass dispel something, you're going to go stasis, dispel, and you fire it dry into party 1. You click party 2, dispel, party 3, dispel, and now you have stored in your stasis 3 dispels on 3 unique party members. So when you reactivate stasis, you're going to dispel each of them, and it will not put your dispel on cooldown. So you're able to dispel that 4th person. You can effectively dispel your whole entire party. This will work with bursting. However, if you're trying to do this with bursting, it can get a little bit dodgy because if you have, say, one bursting stack comes in right as you start trying to do your ramp, it can be a little bit awkward because it's going to put your dispel on cooldown and just sort of botch everything. So I'd say if you're using it for bursting, definitely do so with a little bit of caution. There is one place where I think this dispel is going to be absolutely mandatory and where it's going to be absolutely massive, and this is for the tree boss in Alfgar Academy. For those of you who have not done the tree boss in Alfgar Academy, it does a couple of things. It has an ability called Germinate, and then it puts a nasty bleed on everyone after Germinate, and then immediately after that, it spawns an ad, and then it does an ability called Burst Forth, where it explodes, dealing massive damage to your party. So the reason why people will die on this fight most frequently is they'll have this bleed that the tree puts on them, and then Burst Forth will happen, and because they're not perfectly topped off, they will get one shot. So in the lower keys, this is not that big of a deal, but as you start getting into the 17s, the 18s, the 19s, the 20s, and higher, people are going to have 100% of their health bar and have some kind of a DR if they have any hope of surviving that. And so what we're going to do for this boss as evokers is very simple. We're going to, leading up to that first bleed coming out, we're going to pop our stasis. We're going to dry fire our cauterizing flame on party 1 ourselves, dry fire it on person 2, dry fire it on person 3. So then the bleed comes out, we immediately release. These 3 people are purged, and then you can actually dispel the last person with the real cauterizing flame. And so depending on who your tank is, you might want to dispel your tank because tanks get absolutely plastered depending on who they are. So for instance, a warrior, like you will not need to dispel because they're very, very safe. It's all physical damage. But if you have a blood decay, you definitely want to dispel your blood decay. Your blood decay is going to be in a lot of danger on tyrannical weeks. And it's definitely one of the ways that you can brick your key. We don't want to do that. So just to go one step further with this strategy, you can only get every other set of bleeds with Cauterizing Flame Mass Dispel. So for the set that you cannot get with Cauterizing Flame Mass Dispel, there's another trick you can do. So you can Mass Dispel the first set, and then when that branch spawns, who traditionally creates the circle on the ground when he's killed, that everyone stands in to clear their bleeds, you can burn him down to 10%, have a Warlock banish him, and you leave him at 10% health, banished in the corner. Then burst forth happens. You top everyone off. You kill the ads. You get the second set of bleeds, and you immediately unbanish, and then kill the branch. So that second set of bleeds gets mass dispelled as well. Using this technology, you'll be able to effectively never have the bleed, and you're gonna make that tree boss be just so free. It's gonna feel amazing. So that is our first secret technique. For our next secret technique, I'm gonna need an unwilling volunteer. So let's go find somebody. Here we go. So this person is available. All right, so this is a really cheeky one. When I found out, I was a little bit surprised because I hadn't thought of it myself. And I think probably a lot of you have not thought of this either. But as you know, we have this ability in our tree called Lifebind. And Lifebind says that when we verdant embrace someone, our life is bonded with them, causing our healing on either partner to heal the other for 40% of the amount. This last ability lasts 5 seconds. So what this means is that anytime that we use verdant embrace on someone, anything that happens to us healing wise also happens to them. So for the purposes of this, using this technique, we're able to ramp and put verdant embrace on everyone, life bind everyone, and do a bunch of healing to ourselves that's going to be replicated on them during that life bind window. This is most often coming into play with Emerald Communion. I'm sure everyone has heard of this ramp at this point, where you go echo, 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 echo into verdant embrace, into Emerald Communion. Your party cannot die through this. There's one further tip though, and something I just found out not too long ago, that you might actually want to try. So here's our little participants. We're gonna take some damage because we need to. Boom. All right, so we're gonna verdant embrace this person. Now watch this. When we pop a health potion, it's going to heal this person as well. So why does this matter? A health potion is off of the global cooldown, and all of our other spells are of course on the global cooldown. So what this allows us to effectively do is we can weave health potions into our Lifebind ramps, using Lifebind, using Verdant Embrace. And effectively what this means is that every time we do any sort of ramp that involves Lifebind, we can weave that health potion in, and we can just do that much more healing. Now this actually gets way more interesting when you start to talk about some of the other potions that you can possibly use. And the biggest one, of course, is the Potion of Withering Vitality. Now this potion is a little bit interesting, right? It says consume this vile concoction to instantly heal yourself for 220,000, but suffer that same amount as plague damage over 15 seconds. So what is a way that we could use that plague damage that we are taking to our advantage? Well, there's one thing that we could do, and that's we can pop Renewing Blaze. So we can effectively take some damage. We can echo, 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 echo everyone in the party. We can Verdant Embrace this person, pop our Potion of Withering Vitality, pop Renewing Blaze, and now all of a sudden we've just given a massive Lay on Hands heal to the entire party. And on top of that, we're taking a dot. The dot is proccing our Renewing Blaze, which is healing us, and that healing is also being transferred through Lifebind. So this is just something a little bit cheeky that you can do. I'm not exactly sure that the Potion of Withering Vitality is going to be the way to go necessarily, just because it is dangerous. It is a lot of damage that you're taking when you pop a Potion of Withering Vitality. If you've never used one, it is a very, very painful dot that it puts on you. The Withering Vitality dot is, of course, 15 seconds, whereas our Renewing Blaze is only healing us back for the next 8 seconds. So I think this one will be fairly niche, but it certainly does have applications. I think one of the most notable applications is on Advisor Melindris at the end of Court of Stars. He does an ability that has 4 ticks. Each tick is going to be for about 40% of your party's HP. And it lasts for about, I think, 3 seconds or 4 seconds. And he just does this ability over and over. It's called Slicing Maelstrom. So I think one spot where you might use the Potion of Withering Vitality is on this boss, where you can effectively echo your whole party. Slicing Maelstrom starts. You take the first tick, you Verdant Embrace, so everyone has Lifebind. You take the second tick, you use the Potion of Withering Vitality to top everyone back off for the second tick, and you pop Renewing Blaze, and so the damage over time it's applying to you is going to count as healing to the rest of your party. And that'll basically, using only a potion and Verdant Embrace, coast you through an entire slicing maelstrom. You might not be scared of that boss yet, but let me tell you what, you will eventually learn to fear Advisor Melindres. He is a terrifying boss to heal on Tyrannical Grievous. I can tell you firsthand, especially as you get into some of these higher ones. That's another cool trick. I think for all intents and purposes, just starting off like with the awareness of the fact that we can use healing potions inside of our lifeline windows is just a really big tip. And now for our third one. This third one is like a little bit cheeky. It's a little bit interesting. It's just something that I came up with when I was doing some theory crafting of my own. I'm still thinking about like what the best applications for it are. I know that they're out there, but it's an alternative way that we can use our stasis ramp. Before we get too deep into that though, let's go into what our traditional stasis ramp is. So when we stasis, we want to pop stasis. Traditionally, we want to Burden Embrace, we want to Dream Breath, and we want to Spirit Bloom. And then effectively, when we do this, we have a very powerful burst of healing that happens. And it allows us to get two big bursts of healing back to back. So, and these can be spread out quite a ways apart. One thing that I would like to caution you about when you're using this ramp is what empowerment level you're putting Dream Breath on. When I watch other players playing Evoker, and when I'm tanking and I see other Evokers doing their stasis ramps, I often see them putting Dream Breath on 1 in the middle of a stasis ramp. And while it is very true that we typically want to release Dream Breath on 1, for the purposes of a stasis ramp, it becomes a lot more nuanced and interesting. So what do I mean by that? So if you just release Dream Breath on 1, you're putting a 16-second heal over time on your entire party. And if let's say that we are planning on releasing our stasis 10 seconds after we have done our initial stasis ramp. If this is the case, then we've effectively lost 6 seconds of healing because the first Dream Breath will be overridden by the second Dream Breath. So something you should definitely be thinking about, and I see a lot of Evokers kind of messing up, is what level of empowerment do I want the Dream Breath to be on in my stasis? And more often than not, I think the answer to that is 2 or 3. I think putting it on 1 is a little bit more niche, but it's just something to think about. If the 2 iterations of healing that you need are 16 seconds apart, then putting it on 1 is actually perfect. Now, let's say that they are 9 seconds apart. Then you want to put it on 2. What if they're 7 seconds apart? You want to put it on 3. And of course, you can kind of wiggle around with it and kind of figure out what is the best. A lot of times, it's hard to actually charge that Dream Breath all the way up because of how much damage your team is taking. It is a stasis ramp after all. And so like sometimes you'll just have to let it go on 1 because you really just need to get to that Spirit Broom. And in those cases, that's perfectly fine. Just release it on 1. You don't have to be perfectly efficient always, but just to put it out there, in a world where efficiency is what we are absolutely aiming for, we want to be thinking about when we're first getting that iteration of healing, how far away that second one is. And we always want to think about Dream Breath in relation to these things. Now to shift gears slightly, there are times when we want a cooldown, but we don't need to produce 2 iterations of healing. 1 iteration of healing is going to be just good enough. And in these particular cases, I've been kind of devising and playing around with things and trying to come up with an interesting ways to use stasis to just produce like 1 10-second window of just absolutes like Giga Chad healing. And so in order to do this, I kind of have an idea here. So here's a thought. We can start this ramp, this alternative ramp. We're smiting the boss, or we're living claiming the boss. Play too much priest. And we're fishing for these procs, right? So we're hitting the boss and we're fishing for procs as we near the damage events. We don't necessarily have to have 2 for the purposes of this ramp. But it's never bad to have more than 1.
I must get closer.
And it looks like we're not even gonna be able to get 2. Here we go. I mean, it's never bad to have more than 1. But 1 is just good enough. And so for the purposes of this ramp, what we will do, so the damage is coming up soon. We'll go like, we're gonna be, of course, keeping our reversion on cooldown always. We'll go Echo, Stasis, Echo Party 2, Echo Party 3, Echo Party 4, Echo Party 5. Now, everyone has echo on them. Every single person in the party. We're going to press reversion. We're going to put the other reversion on cooldown. So now our whole party has reversions. 2 people in our party have 2 reversions. So the next thing we're going to do, we're going to Verdant Embrace. We're going to release our stasis. We're going to press echo one more time. Our whole party has echo all over again. And we're going to press Dream Breath. So what did we just do? Effectively what we have done is we have put 2 reversions and 2 Dream Breaths on the entire party. Why would you want to do this? Well, in short, because it's an absolutely crazy amount of healing. This is a nutty amount of healing, and it also allows you to have insane mobility after it happens. So I think that there are some interesting places where you can apply this. And I'm still like thinking about like the full implications, but the general idea is if you need massive amount of healing over the course of 10 seconds, and you know for a fact you're going to have to move while this massive amount of damage is happening, so you're not going to be able to use your empower spells, you can preemptively ramp with this. And that is the major upside. When you're doing your traditional Verdant Embrace into Dream Breath into Spirit Bloom ramp, you need to be very still while you're filling your stasis, because these spells, they take a long time to empower. The game doesn't always let you be still. And so if you know for a fact, I'm going to have to move, and my team is also going to be getting murdered, then you can go ahead and try this one. I'm still working on it. I'm still thinking about exactly like the best applications for it, as I said, but there are a few good ones out there. I think that the second boss inside of Azure Vault is a good one because there's a lot of movement. Everybody's going to be very still, kind of clumped together, like going into that phase. If you time it just right, you can send everyone into the phase with double hots. And that frees you up to move around. It gives you a lot more wiggle room, so you're not just immediately stressed out like because your team is melting. Another good example of this is just another good place that you could put this is basically anytime that you know your team is only going to need one. I'm sorry, I'm losing my voice. I've been streaming for 13 hours a day for like the last week. But if you know that your team is only going to need one massive iteration of healing and not 2 big clumps of healing as the traditional ramp does. And yeah, that's just like a little ramp that I've been kind of working on myself. So that pretty much wraps it up as for the 3 secret preservation evoker combos you all caps need to know video. Give me 1 second. Yeah, so I mean that wraps up my everything that you need to 3 secret preservation evoker combos you all caps need to know video. I hope that you've learned something. I hope you enjoyed this video. This is my first ever YouTube video. I'm still getting used to it, but I really hope that you enjoyed it. And I super hope that you will stick around. If you would like to come and hang out with me and my community, we're super freaking awesome. You can find me at twitch.tv/eyelashtv, where I stream pretty much 7 days a week for like 12 hours a day. I'm probably on right now at the time that you're watching this. And I'll definitely be on tomorrow because I'm just a no-lifer, I guess, or something. Anyway, I will talk to you soon. I really adore you guys. Thank you so much. Until then, Big Cards Club out. Bye.